right, welcome to another episode of the Bulldog Bark. I'm yours truly, the Guru. With me today, I got my full cast with me. I got Michael D. Rosa, MD the Dream, Butler's Fighting Crew, BFC, and Kyle the Butler fan. All right, boys, a little bit of a better week for the Dogs. We got a nice little 2-0 week. Sorry, Michael, the Dogs had to take down your other half. The Dogs took down the Georgetown Hoyas. I believe the score is 93-89. Correct me if I was wrong. I was in Mexico. Yeah, I think that's correct. Something like that. And then yesterday had a nice senior day win over Xavier, 80-75. So nice 2-0 week after snapping that 6-game losing streak. Butler currently sits at 15-13, 6-11 in the Big East. They are currently in 7th, only a half game back of the 6th seed, which just goes to show what the Big East is this year. So definitely with 3 games left, an opportunity to get to that 6. They technically could get up to the 5. That's going to be tough. But wouldn't that be something if we could pull off string a few here and get that bye? That'd be insane. Butler has their last 3 games are going to be at Villanova. That's this Wednesday before they get a week off to host Creighton. And then they finish it up with at DePaul. Those are the final 3 regular season games. So, Michael, I'll punt it over to you first. Kind of just recap your thoughts on this past week. Dogs 2 victories. What were your thoughts and what were you seeing out there?
Yeah, it felt very good for this group. Like after losing 6 straight, just winning 2 in a row, like it definitely just felt good. I felt happy for the guys.
Not to cut you off, one more thing. Mata got number 500. It took 6 tries, but Mata got number 500. So shout out to Thad. I don't care about your thoughts on him going into the offseason. Anyone, 500 wins, especially most of those, pretty much all of those being at a high level, programs. Shout out to Thad. 500 is awesome. Huge accomplishment. Anyway, back to you.
And then he got 501, and that came a lot quicker than 500. So there you go. But yeah, first game of this week. I mean, both games were dominated by offense for our team. Obviously, it's been how it's been the last 4 years. They did a very good job of attacking Georgetown's press loose term rephrase. They did a very good job of attacking Georgetown's full court defense that just kind of lingered around there. I can't call it a pressure. Very well. Like just gotten literally, I think in that game, every single look Butler got was the ideal offensive look. It was either a wide open, you were open either at the rim, elbow, or 3. Like it was just wide open. Nothing like, yeah, Butler completely dominated that game. They only won by 4. They should have won by 14. Then in the Xavier game again, another game, just the offense really just came out the gate just firing. And where in the first game we played Xavier, we didn't play any transition defense because like they're just missing go. When they're having to take the ball out of the hoop, it's hard for them to run transition, like hard for them to get going in transition. And then we got to the line relentlessly because we were just the more physical team. And yeah, 2 good wins. Like very happy for them, particularly Michael Ajayi in the Xavier game. He got the senior night he deserved. He has been terrific all season. No matter what you think of where Butler is, whatever, you can definitely appreciate everything Michael Ajayi has brought in his lone year as a Bulldog. He was just terrific in this game. Just terrific.
Yeah, and I posted a stat. He's definitely going to pass the single season defensive rebound record. And honestly, I mean, we have guaranteed 4 games left. I mean, I think he's like 42 short of the total
43,
rebound
42,
record.
42 rebounds from tying the single
Yeah.
season Butler record, 43 from breaking it.
And I mean, he averages 11, 0.5, so or point 0.3 or something like that. So I mean, it's definitely in the realm of possibilities that he gets I now shout out to Daryl Mason. He did that in 26 games, which is kind of insane. But still great accomplishment. To Michael's point, you guys share a first name. I was about to say to Michael's point, great job by Michael. But yeah, Michael Jai.
Great job by Michael. Agreed.
Michaels are great. Yeah, Michael Jordan, Michael Jai, Michael DeRosa. I always said they're the same person basically. Uh, same caliber athlete, same caliber brain. Well, you might have a little bit. Yeah, you're up there.
You could just say I'm above both of them because you'd be right.
You're above all other Michaels, obviously. And then real quick before I pass on, it's also nice having Finley back. Obviously, missed him for the Seton Hall game. I truly believe we win that Seton Hall game if he's healthy. Seton Hall had nothing going offensively, and we didn't either because we were missing our leading scorer. would have been nice to have. Could have been a nice 3-game winning streak, but good to see him back. He scored 19 in that in that Georgetown game, was the leading scorer, and then dropped a smooth 18 called the flu game. He had the flu and had one wrist. So shout out to Finley. Good having him back after that 1-game absence with the wrist injury. Going down the line, BFC, man. Just so everyone at home knows, BFC has decided to go camo today. We can't even see him, so I don't know what he's doing back there. But BFC, off to you. What were your thoughts and impressions on this past week?
Yeah, it was honestly just nice to see some of the guys that have been playing really hard get, reap a little bit more of the reward. Obviously, Mike has been phenomenal all year. I think we'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but he's creeping up on, better individual seasons that we've seen in a Butler uniform. Um, just kind of looking at the stats with him, Kamar's senior year and Keelan's senior year, I think, they're really comparable. If you take out kind of the team aspect of it, obviously Keelan and Kamar, were on more successful teams those years, but just individual stats, it's pretty shocking to kind of see them up against 2 seasons of, 2 Butler greats that everyone will think back of. But then also, I think Jamie kind of got his mojo back a little bit, which I love to see. He just had an opportunity to, make winning plays in both of these games where we're not kind of playing catch up. And I just thought that brought a different aspect of him as a player. I think he's just, it's going to kind of sound odd. He's the opposite of like a tank commander player, like your Cam Thomas in the NBA, a guy that's going to put on some big stats on kind of losing teams. I think that Jamie is a much better player when the team is playing winning basketball. I think he's just an awesome piece on a winning team, and that kind of brings itself out if the team is winning. And, if a team is losing and he's still playing like really, really intense team basketball, I think that there can be some unfair flack against that style if, the stats aren't really showing up. So I thought he made a couple plays in that Xavier game that won't even really show up on the stat sheet, like loose ball, throwing off a player kind of on a long rebound, hit a couple big shots, made a couple great passes in the fast break. So that was obviously, that was awesome. So yeah, both games were fun. Shout out the guy that sat in front of me at the Xavier game who just hated us. I hope you hit traffic on the way home and had an awful rest of your day.
I'm sure they did after that 5-point loss. No, I agree. And then another name I want to throw in there, then Kyle will get you. Also, Jackson Keith. You're kind of talking about with Kaiser just making the plays that don't show up in the stat book necessarily. I feel like Keith has always got his hands on the ball somewhere. I really love his size, and I really hope that maybe we get to keep him around for next year. I do think he could be not exactly the same type of player as Kaiser, but I mean, they do kind of have some similar build and stuff like that. So if he could grow into that a little bit, but shout out to him who is, Keith, who's really didn't get to play much at all this season, but now the past, with injuries and such has gotten kind of an expanded role for a couple weeks now. So he had a couple of huge plays at the end of that Xavier game, the big, diving for the loose ball, and then getting the last rebound too. So shout out to him too. Kyle, how about you, man?
Yeah, I guess we talked very briefly. I think it was Guru. We talked really briefly there about Finley, but I wanted to just on him a little bit more. I would say that if it's possible for a guy who is and we know like this is all like been very public and everyone knows that sometimes he struggles defensively, sometimes he makes head scratching plays. We know that, he knows that. Everyone like it's understood, right? But I think that these 2 games, the last 2 games, kind of go to show that when he's going offensively, I just think he opens up a lot more for other people. Teams see him as a threat. He really does. Players just jump at him. And he just, because they're scared of his shot, and it's understandable. Listen, against Seton Hall, they lost, and you could see, I mean, that was maybe the worst offensive game they've played all year, and he was I think it definitely was, and he was not on the floor. So
Quick,
offensively,
Kyle, real quick, that you just brought up a point. I mean, the shot fake wasn't as. He has like who was on Pitt? Oh my gosh, Young. No, was it Young? Who had that wild shot fake? This is years ago. I might be dating myself here, but like he has that new shot fake now where it's like just so animated. Like it doesn't even look like his real shot. But to your
yeah.
point, people still jump at it. It is like this massive raising, and I'm like they fall for it every time because you kind of have to suspect he's gonna fire because he can shoot from anywhere.
Well, yeah, you have to, but it almost feels like the scout should be to stay on your feet because I feel like he almost never takes a catch and shoot and just shoots the ball, even when he can. But like he just doesn't. He likes to take a dribble and then shoot. If that's what works for him. But really, I just think that in these past two games, he's opened up a lot offensively. Obviously, the offense in both games was much better in the first half than it was in the second, which is definitely the way we nearly blew both of these games. And I think that they're two wins, but my God, did we kind of collapse in both of them? And we're just lucky. It's weird. It's kind of goes to show that remember those St. John's and Villanova games that we at Hinkle, both of them that we lost, and we lost significantly by both of them. But we said we had chances in the first half to push it farther and make it like at halftime an 8 or 9 point game. And sure, we might have ended up losing those games, but that kind of goes to show the fact that I don't know if we fixed the problem of collapsing late in the second half. I don't think we have fixed that problem. We just happen to build up bigger leads in these games than those, and that's understandable because St. John's and Villanova are better teams than the two we've recently played. But it's good to get the two wins, man. It makes me happy. I just hated losing. What was it? 5 games in a row. It sucked. It felt annoying, and it would be sick if we could get the 6th seed in the Big East, get even the 7th seed, and to see what we can do in the Big East tournament. With the way the Big East is going right now, do I think we'll win the Big East tournament? No, but like it's very weird that I think this Butler team has struggled all year. Well, it's all Big East season, and yet I still think we have like as good of a chance as anyone other than the top 3 teams to make the Big East semifinals if it plays out right for us. Because of that's what the Big East is this year. So, hopefully we get 2 or 3 more to end here.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. After the first, 4 teams, based and maybe even Seton Hall is clearly vulnerable. Like basically, the top 3 teams. I mean, literally, the rest of it's just a complete shit show. Anyone could.
Top 3.
It is, yeah.
Like
Anyone could make a run, and then if you just happen to beat one of those teams on accident, one of those 3, you only have 3 that you have to kind of like watch out. I mean, not watch out for, but you know what I'm saying. Like it could be weird, but it's probably one of those 3.
If we step on the court at Madison Square Garden against anybody, even without Stink Robinson and Jalen Jackson, against anybody except Villanova, St. John's, and UConn, I'll be like thinking that, including Seton Hall and including Creighton, if we step on the court against MSG against any of those other teams, I'll be like, this is a game we can and maybe even should win.
By the way, in case you guys are wondering, his name is Sam Young, and you should, if you have not watched Sam Young highlights, you should absolutely watch some Sam Young highlights. The wildest shot fake you'll ever see. I mean, it was so exaggerated, but people fell for it all the time. But yes, no, I agree, Kyle. Anything could definitely happen. You really just, I mean, we lost to Marquette by 15, and then we came and beat, anything can happen, really. So, kind of looking forward then a little bit. Oh, actually, one last thing. We have to bring up Johan. He played great this week, I thought. I mean, he had 11 points in the Georgetown game, 21 on senior day. Great. I'm so glad they utilized him that Xavier game, just because, frankly, Drayton's just not quick enough to guard that spread offense. Like, he just can't.
Johan isn't either, but he's just a more polished offensive player.
Right. And so he can take advantage of that mismatch down low on offense way easier. But shout out to him. Glad he had a good. I know he's bounced around a lot. I know there's been a lot of. I'd say he's probably made like kind of like a polarizing player to many people, because he has some really good things. Sometimes you're just like, what? For senior day, glad that he balled out. He played great this week. Again, 11 points in the win over Georgetown, 21 against Xavier. So good to see him play well this week. A lot of dunks. By the way, fun fact, do you guys see that stat? I couldn't believe it that we had the 12th most dunks in the country.
Hell yeah. Go Butler.
That just blows my mind. And we're no one in the top 15 individually, but we were 12th going into the last game, which we're probably even higher now because, I mean, we had like 100 in that Xavier game. It felt like. By the way, that Ajayi dunk was absolutely – also, I didn't get to go to the game, but to those of you, BFC and Kyle, how electric was that environment? Talk to us about that because I'm so pissed that I missed that game. Like, of course, all the games, I'm having huge FOMO. I've had to rewatch the game like twice now just to make myself feel like I was there. Talked about the Hinkle environment.
Yeah, it felt like it was back to normal from, the successful years, especially kind of a weekday game. I thought that the energy was definitely there. And I mean, obviously, with it being a pretty quick drive, there's always going to be some Xavier fans there. And they tried a couple let's go X chants that kind of got drowned out really quickly. It wasn't like the past where, when we were really had some rough teams and the energy wasn't there where, it barely even felt like a home game. Yeah, I thought the crowd was great, and it should just be the expectation in my opinion, especially the student section. The student section was what it should be for every single game.
Honestly, I think weirdly, if and BFC is absolutely right that there have been years in the past, specifically I would say last year, where the second half when Xavier was winning by 20, Hinkle was just basically Xavier's second home at that point, unfortunately, with like the fact that it was only like 25-30% Xavier fans last year. It was less this year, but it was only like 25-30%. But you could only hear them because everybody was just dead. Weirdly, the Xavier fans being there and definitely reacting to when they were coming back in the game and, being as loud as they could and trying the Let's Go X chants. Feel like that kind of spurred on the Butler home crowd because they were getting annoyed with all the Xavier fans and were being extra loud when Butler made a nice play. It was a really good environment. I think that the loudest moment, I've been to every game except like 2 this year. Didn't go to the UConn game, which I heard had a great environment, but I would say that other than like, even though it was not even close to as sold out as this, other than like the Providence double OT game, this was definitely the loudest Hinkle was this year, and it was some of the loudest in a while. It was pretty great. And the crowd was into it the whole time.
Yeah, shout out to Butler Nation. I'll keep saying it, for a program that's been down for like 5-6 years. Trust me, there's a lot of other programs that don't still pack a house like that. Even if there were Xavier fans there, Butler still gets consistently at least around 7K, which is still for a program that has really not given us much to be happy about. Just shows the dedication of Butler fans. So I'm glad. I was happy to see it. Again, huge FOMO. I was like super sad that I was not there because like the 2 games that I've missed in the Big East were I think it's just UConn and this one, which is probably the 2. I was at the Providence one, but I feel like those are the 2 other big ones so that sucks, but whatever. So yeah, so Michael, do you have something to say, or were you just I felt like you were about
I actually I pulled up the dunk stat. We are 124 of 141 on dunks this season for 87.9%. I didn't know. Just we were talking about that earlier. So we have 124 dunks now.
Yeah, so 124. So I'd have to pull back up the tweet. I'm not doing that. Too lazy. Sorry, guys. We were like 1 behind Providence or something like that. But we were like 12th in the nation in dunks, but didn't have a single individual.
They have 123, so we've jumped Providence.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Clearly, that is the sign of success, how many dunks you can have, especially when you only make 87% of them.
Providence makes 86% of them.
I was going to say, is that a good number? I don't even know. Like, it feels like that's not a good number.
Middle of the road.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know how Torvik considers dunks. Like, it might just be a very loose definition of dunk, but
yeah,
middle of the road.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but still one of the top dunking teams, which feels like we never are. Anyway, so looking forward to this week. Again, we got 3 more games, boys. We're in seventh place in the Big East. Big one coming up this week. Villanova on the road this Wednesday. They beat us by I think 18 or something like that in the first game in Hinkle. We were up by 3 at half. Really honestly should have been by more than that. We were up by like 8 with like 2 minutes left and naturally just let it fall apart right before the half. And then got absolutely smoked in the second half. That was a very I think Michael's talked about this in one of the past podcasts. That was like kind of one of the ones where you're just disappointed in. Like it was one that you felt like you could have shown that you were a tournament team and taking care of business. Obviously, that didn't happen, and a lot has transpired since. But now we got him on the road, and that's the tough part about not beating him at home. So, Michael, I'll pass it off to you again. Just kind of remind people kind of what Villanova likes to do and just what you kind of want to see from the Dogs this week.
Yeah, Villanova is a very clear, like, space out pick and roll team. Like that's pretty much all they want to do. Offensively, they space you out, they really slow it down, and they just run everything through Caden Lewis. You guys, you and I believe it was Kyle Guru, were talking in a group chat, and we're like, yeah, I think of if it's not a Butler player, obviously a non-Butler player, Nigel James is your guys' favorite player to watch. For me, it's a Caden Lewis, and I fully expected to come into this year not liking him just because of like his dad said something like weird about Georgetown on Twitter. I was just like kind of sick of him because I had seen a Caden Lewis for like 24 months at that point. So I was just like, all right, yeah, just whatever. He is masterful. His control of the game is genuinely brilliant. He is a complete maestro in the pick and roll. I kind of think we get whooped in this game, especially because they're coming off the UConn game where they just kind of came out flat. Caden's just going to find mismatches against us, and he's just going to torch everything. And we're a team that at this point doesn't have a true ball handler. Caden Lewis is one of the best steals guys in the conference. He had 5 steals in our last game against him. I'm like this team, Villanova, they'll space you out. It's really a lot of like 5 out or 4 pick and roll and just keeping the ball into Caden Lewis's hands and just really letting him take over a game. And then Duke Brennan's a very good rebounder. I believe he's towards the top of the Big East in that conversation with Ajayi for like best rebounder in the league. And then Perkins, Lindsay, Hodge, Askew are pretty much just shooters. That's really what they have. They're more than that, obviously, but like just simplifying it as much as we can. Yeah, they're shooters. It's a ton of pick and rolls with Caden, and Caden is truly a maestro. His vision is excellent, and he finishes with this cheeky left hand thing, not like a finger roll, but like a scoop layup, and it goes in, I feel like, every single time. I really like watching a Caden play, and I think he's going to find the holes in our defense pretty easily.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my other buddies about the first matchup, and I remember like they shot like 1 for 10 or something.
Mhm.
I don't have the number in front of me from 3 in the first half, like Villanova did, and they're like one of the better 3-point shooting teams like in the country. And I remember when we were up by 3, I didn't think we'd get our asses kicked like we did, but I was like, oh, I think we're in trouble because they're going to start hitting these shots eventually. The other thing that they did was Perkins, which you wouldn't really expect, kind of goes back a little bit to the Finley thing, but he was just playing some bully ball for a little bit of that game too. Like there was like 2 or 3 possessions in a row where he just basically backed down Finn to the paint and then just like a little floater basically. So I will agree with you. I initially loved the idea of playing them off the UConn game if they didn't get their asses kicked. So, because like, you could have like that kind of coming down from a high type thing. Even if it was a close game, like, one of those like ones, but it still could have some of that. Cause if you saw the crowd, I mean, it was pretty decent from some of the angles that I saw. So, now you're playing on a Wednesday night against Butler. Is there still even some sleepiness? Maybe. I don't know, definitely could be a trap game again if they didn't get their asses kicked, which they kind of did. So I think doesn't bode well for us. But BFC, anything specific that you're looking forward to or that you want to see this week against Villanova? Again, this is our only game this week, boys. We're basically one game ahead of like many other teams in the Big East as far as games are played. So we play Wednesday, then we don't play again for a week. So BFC, what are you kind of looking forward to this Wednesday?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Michael. I mean, it's not an ideal matchup, nor has it been with Villanova the last couple of years. Just stylistically, I just think we kind of struggle. But I'd love to see Fosa get more and more comfortable. I feel like he's been pretty good the last few games of kind of settling down as much as he can, just with the style of player he is. And kind of letting the scoring at least come to him a little bit more. It's not, sometimes I kind of always laugh with my buddies that I sit with. If like Finley doesn't score the first 5 or 6 minutes, you can like see it in his eyes that no one else is touching the ball that possession. And I felt like Fosa had a little bit of that of like, all right, I'm in the game. I'm only playing like 5 minutes a game. I'm going full head of steam and kind of like throwing it up. I feel like he's gotten much better at that as his role has expanded. Obviously, this is a tough matchup, especially as a, you know, secondary ball handler. Ideally, is kind of what his role should be. That's filling in a primary ball handler role. With just with the two injuries, he kind of went from a, let's see what we have this year to a starting point guard in just about a month. So I'd love to see him get, just stay settled. Same with Jackson Keith, who's been honestly phenomenal in the minutes that he's played, as his role is not even just expanded, because Foso was kind of playing a couple minutes before the injuries, but as his role has kind of been born. Yeah, I agree. He just plays winning basketball, and I feel like he has been really controlled, especially offensively. So just seeing the young guys, and then I honestly, with kind of where the program is, I just want Ajayi to have 3 more really, really monster games to solidify himself as first team All Big East, because honestly, no one deserves it more than he does. Because with all the bullshit and the injuries this year, he plays hard. He's the best rebounder in the Big East, and realistically, if he got hurt, I think this team is closer to like definitely the bottom of the Big East. So I just want him to have 3 more solid games and get the recognition he deserves from the conference.
I think we absolutely would be bottom. if we didn't have a Jai, I think we'd be in deep shit. But no, 100% agree. And I was looking back at, and Kyle, pass off to you in a sec. I was looking back at some of the stats from that first matchup. Yeah, I mean, one of the big things is like we just couldn't hit. We shot 38% in that game, 6 for 27 from 3. One of the big things that we all know is that Butler really likes to get to the free throw line. They do a really good job of that. Really good job of attacking the paint, especially like Ajayi and the bigs. We only shot 14 free throws. It's rare that if we that we get out shot on free throws, and they shot more free throws than us, 20-14. Granted, I do remember that game because we kept fouling them when we were down like 12, and I was like, please stop doing this. Like it's over. Stop. Metrics, just stop doing it. Like makes no sense. I also want to add one more comment then to Kyle. I know that Michael brought up Brennan. Just so everyone knows the difference between him and Ajayi, they're both great rebounders, but one of them 6'7", and the other one is like 7 foot basically. So oh god, I'd said it 6'7". Michael's over here doing the hands. I got to get out of here. I'm too old for this. Kyle, what are you looking forward to this week?
Yeah, I mean, on Ajayi, by the way, just a random thought. This is pure speculation. Absolute pure speculation, but how many times this year, I don't know if he's doing this at 100%. How many times this year has he held his back? Like, and it looks like he's in a significant amount of pain. Like, I feel like it happens once
I
again.
think he was wearing a wrap from
Yeah,
one of the
I
videos I
don't think
saw
he's
at the end of that
100%,
game.
man. And he's still doing this. I just got to say that I know everyone's banged up at this point. I get that. But like, he's held his, like, come down weird and held his back. Like, looking like significant amount of pain. Like, I feel like 10 times this year. And it happened very much so in the Xavier game. Remember he was on Carroll, just hunched over holding his back, and they had a Borovic and shoot a contested 3. Real smart offense, guys. Xavier. But but we never even said it, but I hate that he plays for Xavier. Nigel James is probably my favorite non-Big East player. Trey Carroll, unfortunately, dude, he's so good. He's so good. Anyway, about this week, yeah, I think echo both of the things. It's a tough matchup. Caden Lewis is fantastic. I would, with respect to what Michael said about like kind of, I know they're a little bit more than that, but just shooters. I think Tyler Perkins is a hell of a player. Like more than just a shooter. I love the way he scores, the way he gets to spots. He's not afraid to take the mid range when it's like a good in rhythm mid range. He always seems to hit it. I'm a big fan of Tyler Perkins. I think it's a tough spot, man. I think that it's not unwinnable. I think no games in the Big East this year are unwinnable, except maybe for Butler, St. John's, just because of how the matchup goes. But I think that it's a game that if you were to somehow get, you'd be looking at like definitely getting the 6th seed, but ultimately if you can finish out the season with 2 wins, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm not writing it off. Obviously, going to show up and play as hard as you can because you don't have to play for a week after that. So play your guys, play till the end, play hard, but tough matchup. I don't think I have much more to add. Don't expect to win on Wednesday, just to be completely honest.
I mean, if we were just throwing this out, if we were to somehow win the last three, which again, I don't think we will either. I feel fairly confident in that statement. 18 and 13? Is there conversations?
No.
Thank you.
I mean, no, in my opinion. No, in my opinion.
I think that would be the exact
No.
same record as 2 years. Yeah, it would be. They'd be 18 and 13, 9-11 in the Big East. Yeah, that's right. Yes. Right? I think that's right. Yeah.
I think it was 18 and 13, 8 and 12 in the Big East. I'm not 100% sure.
No, it's definitely 9. I know it was 9-11. I just don't know
Yeah.
the total record. I remember that because, yeah, that was weird. But I remember it basically because I remember like the 8-9 game was us and Xavier, and we were both 9 and 11. And that was like crazy to me that like that
18 and 15, 9 and 11, because the two bottom teams in the Big East were Georgetown 2 and 18, DePaul
yes,
0 and 20.
correct. Yes, I remember that. Which I mean, for as bad of a year as it's been for the Big East, the bottom is definitely rising, which is good. But the middle is kind of sunk. It's kind of like gotten in this weird like everyone's not very good instead of like a couple really bad ones. And it makes me wonder sometimes if having a couple just absolute shit teams is worth it. I don't know. Like sometimes I've thought about that. Like just a get right, like you can beat the shit out of this team thing. I know it's not worth much as a Q4, but like I look like the Mountain West sometimes. I'm like, must be nice to like get right, just play Air Force for a game, and okay, I got my confidence back, and I'll go do something else.
You
Anyway,
really want Butler to join the Mountain West, don't you?
oh God, I would love it. It'd be great. It'd be so great. Honestly, no. I mean, Boise has our number. I really don't want to face them again. So, like, we don't wait. No, we do face them again next year. Yeah, at
In
Boise.
Boise,
All
yeah.
right, so get to go out there. That's right. But yeah, no, I agree with pretty much everything you guys were saying. Uh, yeah. Anything else you guys want to add? Kind of like looking, we'll do another podcast before the Creighton game and stuff like that. Speaking of another team that's bipolar, Creighton. I mean, lose by 30 to one game and then beat UConn, then lose by 30 the next. It's just I don't understand that team at all.
I
But
don't think their coach understands that team either.
I mean, they're a weird team. I'm not gonna like. I mean, I know we're kind of a weird team, but we've had injuries. I mean, I guess they've had some injuries. They've actually had some pretty significant injuries. But still a weird team. It's just like one of those teams that, yeah, you just never really know what you're gonna get. They beat Xavier by 40 to open up Big East play, and it's just like, who are you? But again, yeah. So anything else you guys want to add? Looking again, you know, hey, why not? Right? The season is where it is. Let's try and win these last three, and let's try and get the 6th seed. I mean, again, it's we are where we are. Nothing's going to change. Like I think people get scared that if we win some games, I know I was kind of joking about is there a conversation? I think they get nervous about that type of stuff. It's like, guys, be a fan, cheer for your team. Stop it. Stop it. Like if you are out there cheering for us to lose, just stop it. It's like conversations have already been had, I'm sure. So like we're not just cheer for your team. It's way more fun to win than it is to lose.
I'm of the belief about conversations have already been had. I think that if there's going to be a new coaching staff or not, I think that obviously it's going to be not put out publicly at all, not leaked at all, but the conversations that have been had, and I bet that the AD already knows which way he's going on that.
Of course. It's these last three games they're not gonna pull a Ewing and sign him after the miracle run, and then you trick Guru into then betting on you in the tournament, and then you get slaughtered in the tournament. That would never happen. I would never fall in that.
I don't know. I mean, it could happen again. You never know.
I would never fall in
If
that
Reed
trap.
gets hurt again, if St. John's just loses against someone else, like I don't know. If
Yeah.
Providence gets St. John's again, Shagman just starts fighting everyone on that team. They all get ejected. Like, we have a path. We have a path.
There's always a path, man. There's always a path. But yeah, so again, Bulldogs again, really great week. Nice couple victories. Only 3 games left in the regular season. Again, this Wednesday, Villanova. Make sure you tune in. Week off, home versus Creighton for the final home game, and then at DePaul. Creighton and DePaul are the 2 teams ahead of us right now. So I mean, you can't control your own destiny, but definitely would go away and beating those teams. You want to move up the ladder in the Big East tournament. So again, yeah, excited for another week of Butler Bulldog basketball, boys, and as always, go Dogs.